12th Toyota 1000 Desert Race, round 3 of the 1992 Total GTE Off-Road Championship got underway in the northern Cape town of Vryburg yesterday. 62 cars and 75 motorcycles entered this grueling 1,000-kilometer event, which, along with the Roof of Africa rally, is regarded as one of the toughest of its kind in the world. With the area in the grip of a drought, this year's Toyota 1000 Desert Race was a dry and dusty affair. Crews faced an intimidating 478-kilometer racing section from Vryburg to Seven yesterday, returning to Vryburg along the same route today. With the traditional time trial no longer a feature of the event, Thursday was set aside for documentation and scrutineering, and in some cases, last-minute preparations. After 2 rounds in the Total GTE Off-Road Championship, Free State businessman and farmer Alfred van Vuren and navigator Piet Pelser top the Commercial Vehicles Championship log, while Lance Weideman has a 35-point lead over Wilfried Weslau in the Production Vehicle Championship. Harry Rocket Roscoe leads the Special Vehicle category by a mere 2 points from Derek Pinoy. Making a surprise return to the off-road scene was Springbok BUKS Carolin, who retired at the end of last season. Carolin had entered a potent new Porsche-powered Raceco single-seater and was confident of success in an event where victory had eluded him in the past.
I've only come to do this one race, and I'll race 1 or 2 races, a club race or here and there. I'm really just going to put a little bit into the sport that I've had so much pleasure out of. And because this is the hardest race and the one that I've battled the most with, I decided this is the one I better have a go at.
Grass seeds are notorious for blocking radiators and in turn causing engines to overheat. Toyota's off-road coordinator and Kasi Kutsia's navigator Richard Leek explains what precautions the Toyota team takes.
We have a fine netting, Simmons mosquito netting, which we run on the front bull bar. We then run on the natural grill of the vehicle, and we then run a 3rd layer in front of the radiator. So there are gaps, air gaps between each one, so that as the grass comes in, it shakes away and falls in between the gaps. And hopefully that should be sufficient for this event.
Radio 5 Sun City 400 winner Arnold Protea had opted for Toyota power in his Raceco.
Maar ons te bouwerspan het ons nou 'n bietjie ongelukkig gehad met die engine wat opgepak het, so ons het nou 'n Toyota masjien ingesit en ons is volmoed. Ons is regtig, ons het baie parte van Amerika af gekry en ons is volmoed dat die krag is daar, alles is reg. Ons hoop net, ons nie baie tyd gehad om te toets nie, maar ek is seker daarvan ons sal daar wees.
Special Vehicle Championship leader Harry Roscoe has been a long-time supporter of Class 9.
I've held the Class 9 together, you know. I think and a lot of guys have been encouraged by the fact that I'm doing quite well. Well, I did quite well. That there is a chance that they can do well. For me, I enjoy it to be on my own, and the competition I look forward to, especially BUKS.
The motorcycle categories are as competitive as ever, and the 200 class sees Brian Bontekoning on a Kawasaki 7 points ahead of John Hodgson, also on a Kawasaki. Alfie Cox leads the 250 class on his Kawasaki, while Errol Dalton and Jeremy Davies share the lead in the 500 class. The motorcycle entry list featured 2 well-known names from the motocross ranks. We spoke to former motocross champion Russell Campbell and reigning champion Gary Nell about their participation.
I did the roof in 1980 and 81, which I think is totally different to this. There's no mountains out here as far as I can see. I believe this is very flat and fast. Other than that, I've only done the Bobsfontein Grand Prix and a couple of hair scrambles, that's about it.
Well, you know, for in the next few weeks we haven't got any important races, so I thought I'd just take an opportunity to come out here and enjoy myself, and can't stay on a bike too long. So I thought I'd come here and ride this, and Russell and I organised to come do it together, so we're doing it.
Willie Ireland, now Suzuki mounted, is a veteran of the off-road and enduro scene and can be relied upon to put up a good performance against some stiff competition.
Competition is still hot. I mean, I got Jeremy, I got Alfie, got Jeremy on that 600, we got Alfie on the other 250. Patrick is okay. I think we're just going to have a, same as Bobberspin, we're going to have a flat out dice until the end.
And one of the reasons for the change is that the race ran up into an area where there are now game farms being established, and the farmers in that area requested that we no longer use that area. So we had to look for another area, and one of the obvious
finishing points was Severn, which had petrol available, which we need for the overnight stop. But it's small enough place to still give the competitors and spectators and the crews a place to feel out in the bush. The route change affects about 120 kilometers of the route. It goes up in a northerly direction from the river section to just south of Heuringsvlei Pond, and then comes back down to the river section where there's a short section of about 4 kilometers to the overnight stop. The route, I'm sure the guys are going to enjoy. It's a very good route. There's not a lot of instructions and very few villages, so it should be all round, it should work out very well.
Driver's briefing is very much part and parcel of any form of motorsport and is the last opportunity for competitors to receive the latest information regarding the timetable, route changes and the like. The route for the Toyota 1000 Desert Race provides an interesting mix of farmlands, bushveld tracks and dry river beds, with a feature of the event being the high speeds attained by cars and motorcycles. As always, the vehicle competitors faced a chilly pre-dawn start to proceedings on Friday morning when their cars were released from the impound or parc fermé. Many were still attending to last-minute adjustments before heading to the start line.
The most important thing is really not to hold any one of the faster cars up, you know, because we are right in front and we must watch our mirrors and not to hold anybody up.
Being a trucking guy, I believe the trucks are going to give the Sandmasters a real run for their money, but of course let's see what happens at the end of the day. And I think the real race, as we all know, really starts at about the midway point tomorrow.
So I think you've got to actually pace yourself. That's the key on these 1,000-kilometer events. Don't try and get involved in a dogfight to start off with. I think people tend to get lost because they're in such a hurry to overtake and do that. Rather just sit back and watch and then work yourself towards the front.
Die reisies gaan enige oomblik begin. Die drukking is definitief op ek en Richard. Ek glo nog is 'n goeie kans om hierdie spysvrames te vang vandag. Dis 1000 kilometer. Ons kan dit nie vandag wen nie. So die taktiek is net om dit redelik 'n goeie pas te handhaaf en natuurlik môre in die eerste plek weg te spring terug die 500 kilometer terug.
So it's a weight for age race. So they told me because I put on a bit of weight, I can't take 2 guys in the car, so I'm going on my own.
So dit sal ons nie pla as iemand by ons verbykom nie. As ons onder die eerste 5 op Severn is, dan is ons baie gelukkig want die groot ry is môre om terug te kom.
You know what's so great when you come and you've won the race, you've done it. There's not too many people who won this race. It's great to come and have fun for a change.
So you're not out there to win today?
Well, today we don't win, tomorrow we're going to win.
Starting positions were determined by a seeded draw, with local farmer R.P. Raceco and his navigator Lucas Dreyer being first away in the Sasol Ford Courier. Local farmer R.P. Raceco and navigator Lucas Dreyer were in a confident frame of mind and would rely heavily on their knowledge of local conditions in their quest for victory. Lesotho pair Wilfred Veslau and Dagmar Blankner were drawn in second place in their VW Breadvan. Last year's Toyota 1000 winner Klaus Degener was confident of a repeat win. Victory in the Toyota 1000 has eluded BUKS GAROLIN thus far, but the odds of overall victory seem to be in his favour this time. Cassie Coetzee and Richard Leake spearheaded the Toyota Challenge with a pair hell-bent on ending the Spaceframe's vehicle domination. The race cam fitted to the turbocharged Toyota Hilux 4x4 provides an interesting view of the crew in action. The rest of the field left at 15-second intervals. Drama struck early for Raceco when a steering arm on the Ford broke within a few kilometers of the start, allowing Wilfried Wrestlau's VW Beetle to move into the lead. The BP Chenoweth of Klaus Degener and Jeff Bell had no such problems, and they looked in fine form. Single-seater driver Carolin was having fun on his own in the Raceco, enjoying the awesome power being produced by his Porsche engine. Speeds of up to 200 kilometers an hour can be attained by this vehicle, and total control and concentration are essential if the driver intends staying on the track. Another vehicle capable of high speeds is the turbocharged Toyota Hilux of Cassie Coetzee and Richard Leake. This event is possibly the vehicle's swan song, with the new American space-framed BUKS due for christening at the next event. Unfortunately for Raceco and Dreyer, a steering arm problem halted their progress temporarily. Despite mechanical first aid and lots of confidence, their troubles weren't over yet.
Ons sal nie voorwieldryf is nou weg. Ons sal net met die agterwieldryf ry, maar ons gaan probeer. Give it a go.
Among the two-wheelers, much was expected from the championship leaders. Leading the 200 class is Brian Bontekoning, with Alfie Cox heading up the 250s, and Jeremy Davies and Errol Dalton tying for the 500 class.